Every electronics bench has electrical noise somewhere. Sometimes it's a buzz in an amp. Sometimes it's interference on a radio. Sometimes it's an annoying hum you can't track down. So this is the noise as seen on the scope. You can see there's some high frequency components in there and some 60 hertz hum that's really bad. So we need something to figure out where this is coming from, and that's why we built the Ruby Hum Finder. So if you follow with me, you'll find out how to build this simple device that'll track down electrical noises on your bench or anywhere else in your house. So we started this project and we printed out a project box, and this is an antenna cover. So I just picked two files from the Bamboo Lab sites, printed them out, resized the box because you can customize electronic closures, but resized the box and printed it out, and there it is. It's PETG, so it's pretty strong stuff. So that's the start. So with the box, I customized the size of it to be 110 millimeters long and 40 millimeters wide and 35 millimeters high. So we've made the hole just big enough that we could force feed this antenna cover in there, and we're going to go ahead and glue that in. So this is the basic circuit for the Ruby Hum Finder. It just runs off a 9-volt battery. That lead comes up to the switch. This supplies power to the JFET and the 386 amplifier. I used an MPF 102, but you could use a 2N5457, a J201, a 2N3819 for this transistor. So basically you have an antenna that comes in through a 47 nanofarad capacitor, comes across a 220K resistor. The 560K resistor here sets up the base impedance as a high impedance. That comes into the MPF 102 or equivalent. And the 9 volts is directly connected to pin 1. And the output is taken on pin 2. The 47K resistor here is your load resistor, and the 47 picofarad cap is just a filter for, I think, real high frequency. The signals pass through a 10 microfarad cap to a 5K pot, and like I said, this is just your normal 386 amp. It uses a 10 microfarad cap up here for a gain of 200. 0.1 cap on the input to ground to knock out the real high frequencies. It goes in through the amp, standard amp output. You can find this schematic everywhere, across a 220 microfarad cap out to the speaker, and that's it. So this is the basic look inside the Ruby Hum Finder. You can see the speaker is just hot glued to the back. You have your switch, you have your pot. Your circuit board is just glued down there. Your battery holder is glued in there. No need to get elaborate here. You can see your antenna is just a wire that goes all the way up down to the end of this corridor. And there's your LM386. So to use the Hum Finder, this is the sensitivity, and all we do is press the button. And there you can hear the noise. So I thought it was the light, and that is putting out quite a bit of noise. But the real interesting thing came from the Nixie clock and its associated power supply. That's the switching voltage to light the Nixie tubes. Roughly around 160 volts. We also found another hot spot in the light, which I suspected. So there's something right there that's generating a lot of noise. And it's only with the light on, so it's coming from the light itself. So dissecting this light, this is the area in question, which would be right over here where most of the noise is coming from. So that noise is coming from this transformer. And it's probably leaking out because there's no ground, there's no shield on this light. So these LED lights are incredibly noisy. Possibly because, like I said, there's no ground, there's no shielding. Most of the noise is coming from this section, which is this transformer. And the filter cap is, 250 volts, but it's only 82 microfarads. So that would explain the massive amount of noise coming from this, let alone noise you get from LED lights anyway, from the diodes conducting. So you can see that the Ruby hum finder does exactly what it was meant to do. It picks up electrical noise. You can investigate where it comes from, and it's a cheap and easy kit. Nothing really hard to do. Any do-it-yourselfer can do it. And if you have a 3D printer, you can print out the case. It's plastic, so it's not conductive. It's a really nice piece. So go ahead and make yourself one. And if you like this type of video, please like and subscribe. It helps the channel out immensely. Thank you. We'll see you next time.